X-T4 versus X-T3 video.
Should be safe here. I have finally managed to get my hands on the brand new Fujifilm X-T4. It has been a fair wait since Fujifilm was quite literally teasing us with a countdown on their website. So is this worth the wait? It actually looks very similar to the X-T3 unless you look very closely to spot the differences. In fact, it actually even has the exact same image sensor and the same processor as the X-T3, so over in the image quality department, there's really nothing new to expect. So what is new? Well, first off, it now has IBIS. That is a big deal. Such a big deal, in fact, they may have just killed off their own XH1. And something that's slightly less big of a deal are the two new film simulation modes. It now has Classic Negative, which I am a fan of, and it also has Bleach Bypass, which I am much less a fan of. It also now has a new battery, one that has a significantly increased capacity over the one that you will find in the X-T3. We're talking 2200 mAh versus 1260 mAh. There's also a new and improved mechanical shutter, which means its continuous shooting speed in that mode is now up to 15 frames per second. Fuji has also made some tweaks to the ergonomics on the X-T4. Some buttons have been moved around and there's now a dedicated selector switch for switching between stills and movie mode, and it also has what I like to call a Canon-style flip screen, which means you can actually vlog on the X-T4. All these minor adjustments that they have made to the ergonomics, like this flip screen, the IBIS, the dedicated mode selector switch, do imply that Fuji is very much gearing this camera towards video shooters. Take that and add it on top of the excellent video codecs that were present since the X-T3, and you have yourself a very capable camera of recording video content on. Those video codecs on the X-T4 remain largely unchanged from the X-T3. DCI 4K up to 60p, 10-bit 420 internal with F-Log and HLG available. The biggest video upgrade would be that the slow motion has been beefed up to 240 frames per second in Full HD. There's also been some mixed response to the flip screen ergonomics. Some prefer the old style of being able to tilt it without flipping it out first. My take on it is I actually don't mind trading a bit of convenience for the front-facing screen, but that's only because I have to film myself quite often, so the convenience trade-off might not be the same for everyone. If you'd like to watch more footage shot on the X-T4, check out Jayz's video of this camera because he will be talking more about the shooting experience on the X-T4, as the one you're watching of mine right now is going to be more focused on its new features. Anyway, Fuji also claims that the AF tracking performance on the X-T4 has been improved over the X-T3. Comparing it ourselves, I would say it is a minor improvement, but objectively speaking, I would still say that the AF on the Fuji is still a ways off from something like, say, a Sony. And that new mechanical shutter that they have put in here, I'm personally a huge fan of it because it just feels so good. Like, seriously, you should try it out for yourself. It's more dampened, it vibrates less, and it's also more quiet. Here it is in comparison to the X-T3. And as mentioned before, it also shoots faster now, 11 frames per second on the X-T3, 15 frames per second on this. As far as the electronic shutter is concerned, all of that remains unchanged. You still get 20 FPS at full resolution, and if you crop in 1.25 times, you get that crazy 30 FPS burst, just like the X-T3. But I think it's also really impressive that they have managed to fit in all this new hardware in a body that's only ever so slightly bigger. It's slightly wider and ever so slightly thicker than the X-T3, but I would say unless you are intentionally comparing the size of the two, you would probably not even notice that this was ever so slightly that tiny bit larger. But even though they did manage to make the body ever so slightly bigger, they did bring over one of my least favorite things from the smartphone industry, a USB Type-C to headphone jack dongle. The X-T4 does not have a headphone jack, despite having a mic in jack. Oh well. So that's pretty much it for my hands-on impressions of the X-T4. Check out Jayz's review if you want to see more of this camera. That's pretty much it for today. By the way, YouTube thinks you should watch these other videos of mine. It's on either side.